Another slow and stable day, for the most part. After decompressing some over the weekend, this morning started mentally strong. I was eager to follow my rules, which I did, again for the most part. I do keep saying for the most part because while I scored perfect tens in 8 categories, I did score zeros in two: position sizing and stop loss control. I only traded Apple and Tesla throughout the day, no options, and entered and closed each trade with mental strength. There were even a few moments this morning when my unrealized losses were approaching $100, and strangely enough, part of me just wanted that to continue so I could close everything out and start again tomorrow. I certainly didn't want to lose money, and I really didn't want to be done for the day either, but I just wanted to see myself successfully shut it down should my max loss hit. I can't explain it any better than that. Again, I wasn't ready to be done, but I was prepared to accept the loss, close everything down if necessary, and just walk away for the day. My first trade came at 9:35 this morning, a good hour after the open, going short 25 shares on Tesla with a stop in place. I quickly doubled the position to 50, and after briefly going green, Tesla continued to rise, putting me in the red shortly after that. My first stop triggered, then my second, and it did annoy me. But one thing it didn't do was send me into revenge mode. I didn't feel the need to immediately make it back. Nobody actually likes to see red in their accounts, but today it just didn't affect me the way it normally would have. Then at 9:53 this morning, I saw another setup in Tesla. This time the stock was moving much slower and I really liked what I was seeing on the charts. And to be completely transparent, I made the conscious decision to violate two of my rules right then and there, knowing before I even placed the trade that it would cost me 2 solid points on my discipline score. I went short 100 shares of Tesla with no stop. I did keep my finger on the buy button the entire time I was holding and told myself that if the trade put me $200 in the red that I would immediately close it manually. And that's where today's story gets complicated. I didn't feel like I needed to be right. I wasn't concerned with showing the market it couldn't beat me. But at the same time, I also wanted to turn the morning around and get back to green. I was convinced the chart was showing me that Tesla was going to move lower, and I was willing to take more risk because of that conviction. The trade worked. Tesla moved the way I expected, ultimately making me money. This pattern continued a few more times in both Apple and Tesla, and by 1 o'clock this afternoon, I was finished for the day with approximately $250 in profit. In all, today's discipline score comes in at an 8.0 with perfect tens in 8 categories and zeros in two: position sizing and stop loss control. I knew what I was doing was against my rules, but I did do it anyway, and I was prepared to accept the hit to the score. But here's the part that I'm now struggling with. I told myself that I was also prepared to accept the financial loss. I believed that if the position continued moving against me that I would hit the buy button, close the position, and get out, but I never actually had the chance to prove it. I could feel it in my bones that I would have closed the position, but again, I didn't have the chance to prove it, so I really don't know if what I was feeling really would have been what I ultimately exercised. Either way, with today's 8.0, my monthly average moves up to 7.53 and my overall discipline score moves just shy of 7 to 6.98. Bottom line, I knowingly violated two of my established rules today. Before even placing the trades, my mind instantly recognized that no matter what happened, I was going to have to explain it here in this video, which ultimately is what keeps me in check most. Maybe that's why I was so certain I would close the position if the losses hit $200, but here's the problem. Feeling certain I would do it is not the same as actually doing it. I also know that intentionally taking this kind of additional risk is too early in my progress. I'll be the first to admit that I haven't earned the rights to start deciding which rules I can ignore, and maybe I never will. So I'm left with a question. Was what I did today controlled discretion, backed by a mental stop and a willingness to accept the loss? Or is it simply reckless trading that happened to work? Again, I just don't know. And because the trade went my way, I never had a chance to find out whether that mental protection I thought I had would actually have been there when I needed it. That's probably the most interesting thing I learned today, because making $250 didn't allow me to answer the question. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'll report back after the close.